there's no more blessings in it. There's no more actual like energy in it, just because you're doing it from a place of guilt. And even worse is that when you go past the guilt, when you keep doing it over and over again, when every single time you just keep touching yourself because of pixels on screen, the more you keep doing that, the more this guilt, you're gonna start like suppressing it. So you'll live your whole life with suppressed guilt. And that's even worse than like actual guilt. So if right now you're experiencing a bunch of problems and nothing's actually working out for you, this is the reason there's so much suppression going on, to the point that right now your daily life, it keeps being like manifested in a way where it's just filled with guilt. Once you stop following what this guy is showing, and you should actually be ashamed. Like, do you really?
He's making a lot of facts, though. He's making a lot of facts. My only wish is, like I said in before, a lot of kids. I'll say kids. I don't know how young kids start. Discover this virus. I'll just say virus. Discover this virus. I think as parents, you should educate your kids on this, on the side effects and all that, because a lot of kids are going into this ignorant about it, not knowing all these things, and that's part of the problem. You're going into it not knowing. You develop an addiction with it, and 5, 10, 15 years later, it's even more difficult to get out of it. If I'm speaking facts, say something in the comment section. This is why this kind of information should go out to kids early, to prevent them from starting these activities. Because the worst in addiction is most likely because you start at a younger age. Most likely. Think about all the things you're hooked to. Did you start it as a kid? Listen, my videos give you perspective. I'm not here to point fingers. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to pretend like I'm perfect. I want you to think outside the box with with my videos. That's it.
That as you're watching this whole thing right here, there's people just like this guy behind the screen who have mastered the art of keeping your attention every single time. So they tell these girls,
bruh, it's messed up. And Instagram is worse. TikTok is worse. Twitter is worse. Like, you cannot run away from it nowadays. So you really just have to try your best. Develop activities. There's programs out there. The best way is to set goals and to focus on the goals. And to be honest, whatever momentum you have, roll with it. Roll with it. My only wish is the knowledge of this early to prevent anybody from starting. That's my only wish.
What they do, they tell these girls like how to sit, how to act, and the guys like to like certain angles and stuff like that. And so these people, their whole goal is for you to just keep getting hooked on this thing. So you think that you're just watching like pretty girls and stuff, but behind the screen, these guys are literally sitting like this with their sweaty armpits and stuff, and they're just like, we got him. Like, bro, should that not piss you off? Should you not be ashamed?
Yeah, that's a great point. Great point again. Great point.
Of that, and what's even sadder is that the more you're actually hooked on this thing right here, the more that you actually enjoy watching other people getting success over you. Like, you know what I mean by success, right? Like, you're just basically rewiring your brain to the point that you only enjoy seeing other people do it and not you. And this is why.
And this can lead to a lot of crazy things, man. A lot. I'm sure if you do research, you can find out for yourself. But yeah.
See all the people, like literally, you see all the people that are actually hooked on this thing, they never actually end up doing it themselves, which is so sad. So do you realize how that's actually making you, like, it's actually making you gay? Like, I actually don't understand, Habibi. Like, some of you guys are actually enjoying seeing other people's, like...
Habibi, what's Habibi? My friend, maybe? I gotta learn this language as well.
Like, private parts, and you're not realizing it's like, wait, like, this is actually making me gay. And no, like, don't be coming here and telling me it's like, oh, well, what's wrong with being gay? Okay, fine, nothing's wrong with it. But you're gonna start, like, doing stuff like this. And also the biggest thing is that most of the time, when people are, like, addicted to this thing, maybe, when you're always feeling uncomfortable, or when you're feeling bored, or once again, like, when you go through, like, just...
And also, when I say corn, I also mean Instagram. I don't mean the site. So just because you don't go on the site, doesn't mean that, per se, you're avoiding corn, okay? Corn can come from Instagram. Soft corn, I'll say. So that's so my experiences, like, especially now, when I open social media, I see that. It just comes on my feed for no reason, okay? So that's an example of corn. So my biggest point is, especially when it says, oh, you should be this, you should be that, I wish this kind of information came sooner. Because the people that are addicted to it, The people that have social media, especially TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all these platforms, they have addictive personalities. You're trying to get away from it. And constantly getting triggers and dopamine hits from social media in general. It's even tougher. So we need specific things to do to mitigate going back to that. That's the thing. Okay, so it's all like a loop. It's all a loop. I hope I'm speaking facts to somebody that needs to hear this. Okay, it's all great information, but I wish he gave, you know what I mean? Because we can do this kind of thing about anything. Why eating junk food will kill you, all the side effects, estrogen, like we can do all of that, but we need to give you step by step by step things you can do long term to get away from this. I wish that's kind of, but maybe you get to it.
Some like small failure, and immediately you just go and open up your phone and you go through like this horrible act. What happens is that you don't realize that there's a reason why you started feeling uncomfortable. There's a reason why you started feeling like this boredom or like this like guilt or this failure. And so when you actually sit down and you start like going through this negative feeling within you, and you don't just immediately try to go and suppress it through this horrible evil thing right here, what happens is that on the other side of you sitting down with the uncomfortable feeling, with a negative emotion, on the other side there's actually light. But what's so sad is that most people, they literally suppress this feeling within them, so they never get to actually experience what's on the other side. So all they do is they just take their phone, start scrolling, or start smoking some weed, or go through this like
Yeah. Audacious, man. I wish school systems really hammered this down. I wish they did, because they didn't do enough for this. A lot of people are going into these activities ignorant, and they become a little bit aware of it 5-10 years later. At that point, you build so much neural pathways where your brain will have them forever. You will have to literally have professionals to help you get out of it. It's a real thing. It's a real crisis. It's a real issue. It's a real issue.
Stupid freaking website. So they never actually experience the joy on the other side of this negative feeling. So listen, whenever you're actually experiencing
and there's plenty of sexually active people that still watch it. So let's not pretend like, oh, all the ones that are on it is because they cannot get anything. That's not the reason why. It's a grown addiction you've had since you were a child. You know what I mean? Like if you're doing something since you're young, consistently, I mean, you're gonna think it's normal. People think this is normal. It's not normal. I'm not gonna say it's normal. It's not normal. But people think it's normal because they started at a young age doing it for, and that adds up. It adds up.
like some small failure, or you're sitting down and you're sad, or like some guy hurt your feelings, or some girl actually hurt your feelings, and the very first thing you're thinking of is just that, oh, let me just take out my phone, and it's so easy, let me just search up whatever I want. As soon as you start doing that, just realize like there's gold on the other side that you didn't go and take. And so every single moment, like Allah is actually testing you. Like not only is Allah testing you, it's like, do you have the discipline now? Do you have the actual like God consciousness now? Or are you immediately going to go and realize that, oh, like Allah is not even watching me and you're just going to go and do it? So every single time you're being tested.
But for sure, this is a very important video, folks. Very important. A lot of good information in this video. Very important video. I just wish, like I said again, kids knew about this. Because kids are the ones that are basically the targets, because if they can target you from a kid and control your mind from a kid, it's going to be difficult for you to undo your thought process when you're older. It's going to be harder.
If you just go through the test, man, if you just go through the test, this is when you're going to be having like your biggest breakthroughs, as opposed to you immediately like suppressing those feelings and going through your phone. And bro, like just the fact that there's like an entire industry, because I noticed there's like an entire industry that helps people how to quit this horrible habit right here. And so the fact that there's like an entire industry of people actually making money from helping others, not touching their freaking ding dong, the fact that there is such a thing just shows you how bad most men are. So if you don't have like such a
I'm glad you talked about that. I'm glad. It is that bad. It is that bad, man. It is. Believe me, and don't act surprised too, man. Don't act surprised. Don't act surprised. It can. And it's not just that, it's alcohol, it's drugs, sugar. You'll be surprised, man. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised.
addiction, you should be happy. But the fact that there's so many just shows you how easy success actually is. Like, do you not realize there's actually people that just can't help themselves, but actually like just touch themselves? Like, they literally find it hard to not touch themselves. And you know what's so funny too is that if I meet someone, Habibi, like I can immediately know if they're addicted to this habit or not. So if I can do it, everybody else can. So when you're meeting people, immediately, especially girls, like immediately they know, like this guy is actually addicted to this horrible habit. And so as a result, I just don't want to be around him. And this is done at like a subconscious level. So not only like you can't even be getting girls, but like you can't even be getting success. Like Habibi, this is haram. This is why this is completely haram. And so think about it. Think about it. Back in the day, in order for you to actually be able to like see an actual woman's body, like you had to go through so much. You literally had to go through like war. You have to go through like the father of the girl. You have to like go through achievements, like get this girl a house and stuff like that. But nowadays, the reason
if you want to make money online as an affiliate marketer, you may find this
you
a
can
little
really
bit
tell,
controversial,
huh?
but we've
You
stumbled
can really
across ways
tell.
to earn reliable paycheck.
why most people don't even like want to actually go and achieve stuff, but the reason why they don't even want to like actually gain success or work towards something is just because this whole thing has gotten so much easier. So you'll notice that when you stop looking at the other sex, what's gonna happen is this innate feeling within you as a man and also as a girl, like this innate feeling within you is gonna start coming back. So you'll notice that your body naturally is gonna want to go and do the things that give you success. Because I mean, trust me, like back then it was so hard. Now it's so easy. I'm talking about like you seeing like the opposite gender. So every time you're actually going through this horrible habit, you're convincing yourself that, oh, it's okay, I already have the achievements.
I feel like a lot of the things he's saying is verbatim. Okay, like a lot of guys say, "Oh, I can tell somebody's addicted to things," or I can tell by looking at someone if he's weird and all that stuff. Oh, like I said earlier in the video. Oh, he must not be able to get girls if he's, like I said before, if you start an addictive behavior from a young age and you do it forever, that's like a part of you that you have to quit. I know a lot of people dealing with this kind of things that still get girls. So that's not speaking from experience. That's more speaking from verbatim, hearing somebody else say it and saying it too. Know what I mean? But there's some truth to what he says there as far as having more energy, having sort of not being too, what's the word I'm trying to look for? I don't want to say creepy, but not being too thirsty, I should say, thirsty. Those things are true, but the rest of it sounds like verbatim. Like legit, that's what they all say. Like sometimes when you're doing videos, you need to speak from experiences. You need to speak from dealing with it yourself, finding a way to quit it yourself, and then giving people advice instead of reading a bunch of articles, giving us a bunch of information without any context or actionable steps to quit. That type of thing. That's what and a lot of the people, especially the semen retention group. Oh, you're gonna have a glow. You're gonna be able to fly. You're gonna have superpowers. All these things. They're on all of them. All for clicks. All for likes. Legit. Nowadays it's tough to look at something on social media and believe it.
Because you're literally lying to your brain. It's like, look at how many girls I have on me right now, literally on command. But in reality, like you don't. And so your soul, your spirit just got destroyed. You don't even have like the will to actually go and gain success. Also, I was just reading a tweet right here. This guy, Hassan Haidar, he was basically saying it's like, another reason this thing was actually invented was to turn straight men into gay men, which is population control.
Ooh, that is scary. That is scary right there. That is scary. That is scary. You see, this is why schools should expose this kind of information, man. This is why schools should expose this kind of information. The only thing I will say, a lot of the information in this video is great, but I just wish that kids knew. Because to do this kind of videos from a judgmental place, to say, oh, you're a weirdo, you couldn't get girls, all that stuff, is because you don't know how to handle your emotions. You go to it when you're sad. All the stuff. I heard every single thing on the list. Okay, is to give it to the people before they start the activity, because a lot of people started this ignorant. And when you do something like this for a long time, despite all the good information, it's still gonna be tough for you to quit. So what's a good way to avoid starting it in the first place? That should be the mindset.